Those cameras, even if you're in the driveway, they can still pick it up.
Oh yeah. And sometimes you forget and you have conversations and you're like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have said that, in this place. Or you have to be respectful. And sometimes I'm like, hey, don't say you're true. Don't say this place is disgusting or don't say that this is whatever, because there's people on the other side that have feelings. And it's like, you got to be careful.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to our show, Shawn. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about a realtor who was caught chugging milk in a house and realtor conduct and expectations, because a realtor chugging milk is just disgusting, and we're going to get into that. And what we think about how to go about viewing properties in other people's homes and why this is the grossest thing ever. We're also going to get into Zillow's most interesting product for agents and a new feature in Zillow that you as a home buyer or home seller will see very shortly. Then we're going to get into In or Out with Shawn Battle's In or Out on 3 properties across the United States.
Okay.
Shawn, coming to us from Kamloops, Canada, we have grosses me out. Homeowner reacts to what realtor did in her home. So a agent was showing a property. It just had one buyer, one appointment, and then they set up an appointment for later that day for an additional showing. And at that point, the homeowner was like, okay, this is interesting. 2 showings, same agent. I'm just going to check the camera after the showing and see how things went. I think the agent might have hung out in between the showings. There was like an hour or so in between. And what they saw was pretty gross. The agent, with the camera pointed at the kitchen, went into the homeowner's fridge and chugged some milk straight from the jug and then put it back in the fridge and went about the showing as if nothing had ever happened. And then the homeowner confronted the agent at a later point and said, hey, is there anything you want to tell me about the previous showing? And he goes, oh, the milk incident, as if this is just a normal, common thing that agents do, just go raiding the fridge. Shawn, what are your thoughts on not only this agent chugging the homeowner's milk, but how agents handle themselves and go about their business while they're conducting business inside of someone else's occupied property?
I mean, there's so many things I need to say about this, but it's, first of all, treat yourself like a business, like you are somebody professional. Anytime you're going into a home, this is somebody's residence. They live here. And, our contract, when we sign a listing agreement, it says, is there recording equipment in the listing? This is the reason why it asks that. But you should always conduct yourself like you are on video, like somebody is watching you the entire time. And you know what? If there's a Nest doorbell ring or whatever, throughout these places that we're seeing, you're probably on video all the time. So you need to conduct yourself in a professional manner. I can say that in the 20 years that I've been doing this, I have never even thought of doing something like this. Even though it's just milk, but you just went into somebody's refrigerator. First of all, he's dressed in shorts and hat and, looks disheveled anyways. Why would you, I don't know. Not my style.
So he said he was dehydrated. You go for the milk when you're dehydrated?
That's the worst thing to go for.
How about water?
Right.
He's on new medication, or so he alleged. How about go for water? At least do the whole third grader at recess, tilt your head and turn on the water faucet that way.
Right. Or grab a glass and use the spigot to get some
and
water.
Maybe wash the glass afterwards.
And wash the glass and say thank you or whatever. I've personally never done that, but I could see if you're super thirsty. Now, here's the problem. He's on medication. There's a lot of people in this world that are on a medication. You wouldn't even know it, right? And this is the consequence of this. Now, he's saying this is kind of out of character for him. He's never done something like this. Well, sometimes medications can cause side effects that, I've seen people on Ambien and stuff do some crazy stuff. And so, yeah, you can blame it on the drugs or whatever. But listen, if you're showing property, you can't be on medication, or you can't be on medication that causes you to do things like this. And if you're thirsty, go find something else. Don't go into somebody's refrigerator and chug their milk. That's disgusting.
Yeah, we're
certainly
not condoning drinking from the faucet either. Shawn, have you ever had any sellers go back and check their camera and being like, what is this agent doing? What can you talk to this agent? Any sort of seller, homeowner related incidents with other agents that you can think of?
Off the top of my head, no, I can't think of any where they were being filmed and they found something later in that fact. But, I have gone up to the front door and noticed a camera. And a lot of times when you're walking up to it, you're like, oh, you see a camera, but they're probably not watching. But you know what? It's recorded. There's a lot that goes on. There's conversations that are had. And this is what I tell my clients when we're in a house. Usually a lot of times I'll say, listen, let's leave our comments for outside and way beyond outside, because that front door camera is picking up your audio and video. And they could have these cameras. Cameras are small nowadays. They're all throughout these houses. I have them in my house. You wouldn't know that they're there. So you got to think that they're in other places so people can watch and listen and watch exactly what you're doing. And, there's some strange people out there, right? I mean, we have to warn people that, like, listen, put your medications away because people will rifle through your stuff. Put your jewelry away because people will rifle through your stuff. Go through your drawers. It's weird. I personally watch my clients for most of the time, but there's times that you are not able to watch every step, especially when there's a few people through the house at the same time.
Have you had to scold any of your clients, being like, hey, can you put down that family picture of the sellers? Or, hey, can you not do that right now?
Yeah, when there were kids, like sometimes there's kids running around and
okay,
they'll be like, hey,
Yeah.
But I've never really had strange clients like that. I've had some strange clients, but like not in this regard where they disrespect things, where they go through and, they will. A lot of times my clients will ask me, like, can we open closets? Are we allowed to do that? I'm like, yeah, you're allowed to open closets. It might feel weird for some people because you are intruding on somebody's life and somebody's clothes. And sometimes there's dirty laundry sitting out. You're like, oh, but you have to be respectful and you have to know that people are living there and, be on the up and up all the time. As an agent, you're always on and people are always watching what you're doing. So be respectful.
So 2 things on this. I think the realtor chugging milk is just encapsulates what the general public thinks about realtors. Like they're like, yeah, this idiot. This is a realtor. And then number 2, you need to act like you are always being recorded and someone is always watching you. And how would you react and how would you act if you're always on camera? And I had to scold a client one time. They may be watching this right now, but they brought a friend or a cousin or whatnot. And we're going to all these houses and, it's a competitive market. We're brown nosing with the neighbors, before our showings. We're saying hi, we're waving to people because we just want to have the best first impression ever. And, this area, it leans a little more left than usual. And the friend strolls up wearing an AK-47 t-shirt that had like some joke on it. And during that occasion, I think we met with the sellers. And so I pulled, my client aside. I said, hey, listen, I don't care what you believe in, hey, go crazy on your own time. But right now we're in a competitive market. We're trying to win this house. Maybe hold off on the AK sarcastic jokes when we're in a left-leaning area. But other than that, I think that was probably the most recent occurrence.
It's so true. And you do not want any negative connotation in any way when you're in competition. The littlest thing could set those people off. And they're like, I'm not selling it to the AK, whatever it is, to those people because it hit me the wrong way. And so now that drains into the competition and you lose. And that's just,
Like I'm going to take this a step further. If you're a homeowner and you see someone wearing a red, like Make America Great hat again, and like they're walking through your house in a place that votes like 85% Democrat, like you're just losing. Like you're just setting your. Now I will say, let's do this. If you see the photos online and you see a little "don't tread on me," like, oh, don't tread on me flag, and then you see like some clear, obvious sides to like one party, hey, I may dress up in a disguise. I may start saying things when I know I'm being recorded.
Yeah.
I don't want to say manipulate, but I want to say encourage the seller to sell to a quote unquote like-minded, whether there's some Hillary posters up, whether there's some red hats on display. I'm going to make myself as likable to the seller in that 30-minute time frame that I have.
Yeah, and that's the thing is you have to. This wins deals. If you find a commonality in whatever you can. That's what wins deals. And, there's sometimes when clients of mine are like, should I take down personal photos? How about this, Philadelphia, Flyers or whatever thing, or Eagles, right? Eagles poster. And I'm like, this is you. I don't really care about pulling down all the personal stuff, because sometimes it actually works in the benefit. And speaking of the Philadelphia Eagles, guess what? Guess who bought it? My client was a Philadelphia Eagles fan. So like, there's commonality there, and that kind of won him over, and was like, I kind of like this house, So there's little things like that can win deals. But you have to watch your clients. You have to watch what you're saying in these places. You just remember and think that you're always being recorded. Be respectful of people. Just because they're there doesn't mean their eyes aren't on you. And I've walked in, earlier in my career, I walked into some crazy stuff. It was before you had to before the showings were as easy as they are now. I've walked in on people sleeping and just like, oh my God, let's get out of here. You just never know. So you have to be respectful. And don't do stupid stuff. Especially, there are stories where people are like, locally, there was a guy had a hooker in one of his listings. There's stuff like that goes on. It's crazy. It's so far and few between. But this is what gives us a bad name, and this is what we always got to overcome. And I'll say that 99.99% of agents are respectful and good. But could you imagine if this is happening as an agent? Remember when was it Redfin or Zillow or one of these was saying, oh, you can go show you the property yourself without an agent. Imagine the public coming through your house and not having the, wherewithal like we do to say, oh, and they're going to be looking in your fridge and doing all this other stuff. That's why agents exist, to accompany people to say, hey, it's not really okay to do this stuff, right?
I mean, I'm looking at this and saying, hey, if that guy's going through the fridge, I don't need an agent. So I kind of take the other side of this.
That's the problem, is that one guy in many millions of agents around the area that this happens, it gives us a bad name. This is the one story that people remember.
Yeah, drinking milk is pretty egregious. I think usually it's like, oh, an agent broke something and didn't say, or an agent left the door unlocked or left the gate open or something. Yeah,
stuff like that happens. Yeah. But this is just purposefully done and never mentioned it, and totally gross.
Let us know in the comment section if you've sold a house, or if you've gone through houses and you saw the cameras, and if you decided to whisper out in the yard, because those cameras, even if you're in the driveway, they can still pick it up.
Oh yeah, and sometimes you forget and you have conversations and you're like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't have said that, in this place. Or you have to be respectful. And sometimes I'm like, hey, don't say you're true, don't say this place is disgusting, or don't say that this is whatever, because there's people on the other side that have feelings, and it's you got to be careful,
Let's move on to our next topic. This comes to us from Mike Del Preti. Zillow's most interesting product. It's called Listing Showcase, Shawn, and it's maybe the most ambitious product since iBuying, and it's in partnership with Showing Time Plus, who Zillow purchased in 2021 for, I believe, $500 million. So Listing Showcase represents a new business model from pay per lead to pay per listing. So usually with Zillow, you are attracting the buyers as a buyer agent, but now this is a way to pivot and attract buyers as a listing agent. So when you're listing a property, you can attract buyers for your own listing. And essentially what it is it's a way for a specific listing to have larger photos, enhanced agent branding, and premium placement in the search results. It's also exclusive in each market, providing participating agents a unique advantage over other agents. The result is a high-profile listing with strong agent branding, ideally leading to more seller leads for partner agents. Shawn, what are your thoughts on this? I know we're not big Zillow people, but this is a new way, a different way to stand out from the crowd, because when you're a Zillow agent right now, essentially you're in the sidebar and you're just paying a lot of money, and you're hoping that you're one of the three agents that gets highlighted and then a home buyer calls you. But this is an opportunity to stand out when people are actually scrolling through the listings, as opposed to, clicking that more information tab for agents. Shawn, what's your thoughts on this?
Zillow. So for those of you that don't know, Zillow, the agents that you're seeing on some of these listings, or a lot of these listings, you might see a listing agent profile, But all of the listing agent or the agents under that are not the listing agent. These are pay for being on that listing. They're buyer's agent that are trying to get you to click on them so that they get the lead and they can show you the house and then they become your agent. And there's a lot of money exchanged. There's so much money that people have no idea. It could be 5, 10, 15, 25, $100,000 a month that some of these teams and agents are paying to get the leads from Zillow so that they can then turn around and sell you a house. And there's a ton of money in this. But a lot of agents shy away from this because not only is there a ton of money into it, but there's a ton of work that goes into it. You need to have your processes down in order to facilitate those leads. And you have to have an agent that is willing to run and do it at the drop of a hat and be at that house whenever those people want. Because if you're not, you're going to lose listings or you're going to lose buyers. And Zillow then is going to find you not as good as maybe the premium agents. And you're going to lose a lot of money trying to do this. So this opens up the door in a different way. And instead of paying that way, you're going to pay for your listings to be there and be prominent. Now, my question would be, am I getting the leads? Is there somebody else that's going to be buying a position under me and that they get the lead? Or is this my exclusive listing? Not only is it being promoted, but it's being my leads back in. And that's the big question.
We're still learning about it. And it seems like that's a possibility of maybe another agent, a partner agent. Maybe there's a price in addition to become a partner agent. But I want to focus on the expanded visibility, because when I load up Zillow, imagine you type in 22201 looking to buy a house, and then 3 of Shawn Battle's listings are at the top of the search. Because right now, there's homes for you. I think that's the tab. You can sort by highest, lowest, homes for you, biggest, smallest, whatever. But I don't know what people are clicking on. I want to go on Zillow and see the most viral houses. Like, what are the most popular houses in Arlington, the ones that are getting all the clicks? I want those to be the ones at the top. And if there's a way that I can boost my visibility, I mean, this is what listing agents do. How can we get the most clicks? How can we get the most exposure? Shawn and I are always trying to figure out, how do we get our properties the most exposure? And if you're telling me there's a way to pay to get more exposure on the most popular home buying website, I'm going to explore every avenue in order to accomplish that.
Very well said, Matt. That's exactly it. I mean, we want our listings to be shining before everybody else's. We want the people to say, oh, this is the one I want to see. And if it's first in your feed, second in your feed, then it's going to get a lot more attention than being buried 15th or 20th, So it's a really good point. And we're always trying to find out ways, how do we get more eyes on our listings? And that's the biggest thing. We want to sell houses and we want to sell them quickly. The one thing that it said is, in here was, you'll be more on the seller side, right? So like, you're attracting other sellers. You're not necessarily, is that one thing you said? It's not necessarily you're getting the buyers, but because you're branded and you're always up top, the sellers that are using Zillow may be more apt to calling you because you are on the top of the searches.
I don't know if that's true.
Okay.
I don't know if that's true. I think when they say for your seller leads, I think the goal is to get your listing, your leads type of deal.
And I hope that's the case. If it is your listing, your leads, that is a huge thing. And this is the way it was prior to Zillow. And Matt, if you ever put a rental lead on and you just get flooded with leads, or a rental listing, you get flooded with leads. That's how it was with buyer leads prior to Zillow. So maybe not quite as many, but you were getting these leads that were actual buyers that were hitting on you because of your listing that was in a system. And it was way different. And then Zillow came along and they took all those leads from us and now they sell them to us, right? So, that's the way it was before. And yeah, I'm a grumpy old man, right? Because that's the way it should have been, because you know what? We work hard to get these listings and there are information. Yeah, we're putting it out there, but it should be people contacting the listing agent to get more information, because we have the information. These buyer agents that you're clicking on, they don't know that listing. They don't know, they might not even know the area. They might not know the subdivision. So you're not getting the agent that actually knows about this house. You're getting some random person, random agent that is just a showing agent, and they're just getting out there as much as possible.
Shawn, if you were to do this program, what would make this a success for you? What would have to happen in order for you to say, yes, this was a good investment of my money? Would that be seeing more views and more saves on Zillow? Would that be seeing a noticeable amount of more people at the open house? Or would the only measure of success for this be getting your phone to ring or getting a couple more buyer emails?
I think there's a lot. I mean, I think, will we see the traffic into the open houses? Possibly. I think getting more views on that property, if I could see that my views are, 50% higher than everybody else's, yes. Number one, that's what I want. Number two, I want my phone to ring. Yeah. I want buyer leads. I want to be able to give them to my team and say, hey, can you show our listing to this person? There's a thing called dual agency and there's a thing called designated agency. I'm not doing dual. That means I'm representing the seller and the buyer. I'm taking this buyer lead and I'm giving it to my teammate. That would be a designated agency, meaning we're under the same broker, but we're not, there's a separation there. And so that's really what I want to do is say, hey, we know all about this listing. You go show it and let's see if we can get the deal done.
Well, when you go on Redfin, you see listed by Redfin, and those are the ones that are listed higher.
Right.
This is an amazing idea by Zillow. Zillow, they had the iBuying fiasco, if you want to call it that, and they've had a few other kind of products come and go. I got high hopes for this one.
I hope so, man.
I would shell out hundreds and I don't know, maybe even thousands of dollars to promote my listing. I mean, we go on ARL now, we pay $350 and get, our very own blog posts. You're telling me Zillow, where people are actually buying houses? Yeah, I pay hundreds of dollars per listing. Maybe it's like thousands of dollars, but
well, what it's going to be is per zip code. So the zip codes that get a lot of attraction or the higher dollar zip codes they're going to pay a lot more. So that's how they do it now. If you're buying into buyer leads, the zip codes that are performing, that are high dollar, you're going to pay a lot more per month. And so they do it a lot of times per month. You're paying X amount of dollars for so many leads. So this is going to be, I mean, it sounds really good, but I guarantee you it's probably pretty expensive. And they want you to be doing a lot of listings so that it makes sense. So that like, oh, I do, as a team, we do 55 listings, 60 listings a year. Okay, well, you're going to pay $3,000 a month for it. Like that's the way it might be. But the thing is, sometimes you can't look at the cost and you've got to look at the benefit. And, it's always easy to be like, holy crap, I'm not paying this much money for this. But then when you see that it actually pays off and it pays the bills and makes you money, well, that's your answer.
You know what I thought about? This is like the classified section of the newspaper. It's the intern running to the editor and being like, what if we did one box where it's 13 size font instead of 10-point font?
People will pay like crazy.
And then we could do bold and maybe a line around it. That would be a game changer. This is like the Yellow Pages or the classified ads on steroids in this environment. That's exactly what it is.
I love it. I mean, we'll see how it performs. It's all dependent. Naturally, agents are paying for it, but all depends on how it performs, if it actually works, and I'll be excited to see.
Yeah, drop us a comment if you think this will be to be for Zillow. You're gonna say something.
Yeah, and they're starting in certain markets. So right now, it's not available everywhere. I think in a certain few markets, it's starting, and I think they're going to see how it works, and then they'll expand it.
All right, let's move on to in or out, whether Shawn Battle is in or out on 3 properties across the United States. Shawn, let's go up to Maine for $400. Look at that face.
Wow.
For $400,000. We have an island, a man-made island with a structure, with a house on it. Let's see, 2 lots, 2 deeds, 1 great experience. So you have a shore side lot, and Rocky Mecca is an opportunity for adventurers and dreamers alike. Rocky Mecca is a man-made island created in the 1930s with its own iconic history. So essentially, you have a house with an 18-foot lighthouse with seating for at the top for 4 that serves as a beacon for the lake. Essentially a house in the middle of a lake with a lighthouse. You have your very own dock, and then you have on the shore side you have a boat tie-up, and then you can do an RV or a camper shore side. Right now the service it's serviced by a porta potty rental, so you don't have the best plumbing, but essentially, Shawn, you're in the middle of a lake. You have your own little boat slip. You can kayak out there. You can boat out there. It's in Maine. Here's some interior photos of the house. It's as rustic as you could imagine, but it is obviously livable, and you got the tower, the lighthouse there as well. Shawn, for $400,000, Are you in or out on your own island?
This is amazingly cool. And it's only 400,000. Okay, I get it. You got to go to a porta potty, which totally sucks. But for 400 grand and being Maine, I've never, but I want to go to these lakes. You know, I want to be in these. I'm buying this thing. I think I'm in. I don't care if there's a porta potty. I'll figure it out later. We'll figure things out. But getting a one-of-a-kind man-made island inside of a lake in Maine is gorgeous. And yeah, it's cool and rustic. Is there heat? Who knows? You better have it up in Maine. But I think it's really cool, and I think it's a really well-priced property.
I am so in. This
Yeah.
property is so cool. I get it. You're not going to go here in winter. You're not going to celebrate the holidays on this island at this lake that's probably going to freeze over. But you go in the warmer months. You go when you can. And it would be a really cool Airbnb. You know, there are Airbnbs where the check-in instructions are take the paddle boat and paddle across the lake and then the keys under the rock. That would be the check-in instructions for this house.
It's amazing. I mean, honestly, I was like, "Where's my phone? I want to look. I want to get more information on this. I've never been up there, but like for $400,000 and I can own that thing. It's how long has it been on the market?
And the house is not disgusting either. It's
No,
like
it's
a
cute.
good
It's
looking
cool.
house. So it has the 2 dashes on Zillow. It does have 23,000 views and 1,600 likes, but it is active right now. So it's on the market. It can be yours.
You got 10%?
I could no,
you don't want to.
no. All my money's tied up at
Okay.
at my other cottage. At my other cottage. All right. Well, I'm still in for 400,000.
Yeah.
I'm still in. All right. Let's move to Barrington, Illinois. Shawn, for $1.9 million. You know what this is? This is a castle
That was a cool picture.
mansion.
Go back and forth.
Castle mansion.
That's neat.
So it's the same photo. They just put the overlay of the sunset preset on that,
like that.
on that first photo. So we have a castle mansion in Illinois. You got the statue and the luxury car out front. You have where medieval meets modern. Ginormous house, lots of land around, and when you go inside, you get a little medieval, a little castle-y, but you also get modern. The kitchen is actually pretty nice. You got the white quartz countertop, the industrial stainless steel fridge, enough recessed lighting for the entire house. The washer dryer. The washer dryer still has clothes in it. If you're going to sell a $1.9 million house, maybe take your clothes out before you do.
Or do a little Photoshop.
Shawn, are you in or out on the castle mansion for $1.9 million?
Matt, usually I don't buy castles. I hate castles. But I'm intrigued. I think I'm in on this. I'm gonna buy it. Wow, look at that. There's some cool rooms.
You want to go back to the Cosmos room?
Look at that. It's a Cosmos room. I'm totally into the Cosmos.
Okay. So
you can watch the stars on your ceiling. There's an indoor pool. There's a deck all the way around. Yeah, it's a little cheesy on the outside, but man, this is cool. There's a lot of cool things. There's a 3-car garage. I'm going to buy it. It's going to be the Battle Castle. I think, we're doing it.
Yeah, I'm out. I can either go castle or I can go mansion. I can't go castle mansion.
Yeah.
Because they're just like throwing these things together and just vomiting out, this juxtaposition of two things that should never go together.
No, I disagree. This is a castle among beasts. This is the castle. $1.9 million is a steal. It's a 5-bedroom, 6-bath, over 7,500 square feet. It has turrets. It has 3-car garage. It has an indoor pool. It has a Cosmos room. It has a nice modern kitchen with clothes in the washer and dryer. I'm buying it.
How's the market for castle mansion these days?
It's probably not too good. So I think I can
Is
get
it down? Is the castle mansion market down a little bit?
I think it is, and I'm going to throw an offer in,
Okay.
but we'll see what happens.
All right, let's move on to our last house, Shawn. We don't go to Hawaii too often, but we're going to go to Hawaii, and we're going to check out a yurt in Hawaii. Now, Shawn, this one has a lot of history. So tucked away approximately 500 feet down a tropically landscaped driveway is this lovely 30-foot yurt from Pacific Yurts. What's interesting about
Matt,
this...
I got to stop you. I don't know what a yurt is.
You don't know what a yurt is?
Can you explain a yurt?
I can show you what a yurt is, and then you'll be able to understand it's one big structure. It's not quite a tent-like structure, but it has similarities to a tent.
But yeah, much more sturdy. That's pretty cool.
So, kind of one big room, if you will. But where it gets interesting is located off the back porch is an entrance to a natural lava tube. In 2009, the seller intended to install a cesspool to convert the composting toilet to a conventional one. However, the machine operator got about 6 feet down and opened up a skylight into a deep lava cavern. Exploration of the cavern explored many forms of stalagmites and stalactites that had naturally formed over many, many years of water seeping through the porous rock. So you have a beautiful lava tube to go along with your yurt if you want to go down and take a peek at the lava tube. So Shawn, for $179,000, you have a 700 square foot yurt, which is a one room kind of teepee-like structure, and you have your very own lava tube in Hawaii. Are you in or out on the yurt?
Matt, have you ever been in a lava tube?
You know, we don't get a lot of lava tubes around this part of Virginia.
Yeah.
So no.
I actually have.
You
Hawaii.
have?
Yeah. It's pretty neat. There are lava tubes. I was in Maui, went to a lava tube. Very cool. And for $179,000, I still don't get the yurt. Okay. All right. Yeah. Is there any running water or anything like that? You said that he was going to do,
it's got a shower. It's got like kind of an outdoor shower situation. The bathroom is also kind of like on your porch or on your lanai, if you will. Mm-hmm. But I think the whole utilities are a little sketchy, as the kids are calling.
the thing looks a little sketchy. But you know what? For $179,000 in Hawaii, and I can say I have a lava tube. How many people can say you have a lava tube? Not only that, I mean, we always say Airbnb, but you got to look at what this could make you. Depends on like how easy it is to get to this place. Because if you've been to Hawaii and you've been to Maui or one of these islands, they can get pretty remote pretty quickly, and the topography changes so quickly. When I was driving around Maui, it was like one side was city and like not many trees, and you go to the other side, it's like alien-like. It's like a different world. But I think I'm 3-3 on this. I'm buying a castle, I'm buying a main island, and I'm buying a lava tube in Hawaii for $179,000. How can you pass that up? $179,000. That's like a car.
You can,
for some people.
because I am going to pass it up. That is a car. There are some cars for $179,000 I would not buy, and there's also tents that are considered houses that I will not buy as well.
I don't really know what a yurt is, but I'm going out on a limb here. I'm going to do it.
Yurts are huge in the Airbnb world, and you want to do this in Hawaii. You want to Airbnb in Hawaii because Hawaii has some of the strictest Airbnb regulations.
See, now you tell me.
But,
he always tells me this after I say I'm going to purchase.
You weren't going to do it for Airbnb. So a yurt is a portable round tent covered and insulated with skins or felt, traditionally used as a ... Wikipedia only gave me so much, but I'm not into yurts, so I'm out on yurts. So if you show me a yurt, I'm going to be out on it. And
but that yurt has like hardwood floors, though. That's the thing, is like it's got it's got animal skin as the
and it's
roof.
got a washer and dryer,
it's
got like gas cooking. So it has the things, but it just feels like a tent. It feels like you're camping. It feels like you're outside. And I don't want to go to Hawaii and be camping. I want to go to Hawaii and have a 4 walls.
What about for one night, Matt? What about I'll rent it to you for one night. You can go down my lava tube, or for the day. You know what? These parks, the lava tube parks, you got to pay to get in. Oh, I got my own. You could stay here for a while. You could drink some beer on my yurt. You can go down the lava tube. I'll sell it to you for how much per day?
I'm good for a day. You'll give me give me the friends and family discount. But since the yurt is serviced by a composting toilet, I'll let you deal with the composting toilet. So let us know if you're in or out on the yurt in the comment section down below. And for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
And take care.